that we targeted, and once those guys went in, we knew we needed that position or that guy or that type of player that, whether he's a pitcher or a position player, we knew what we were looking for, with the expectation that, we were going to lose our entire infield and, Ryan Ammons and guys like that. Now, getting a guy like Blake Wright back, that's a luxury item, to have a senior come back, could have signed, decide to come back. Getting guys back like that, Nick Clayton coming back, Rob Hughes coming back, those are guys that we weren't sure, what was going to happen. But those are maybe the biggest additions to our program, is the retention of those types of guys, because they've got experience in our program and had a lot of success in our program.
With that said, what was, if you don't mind asking, what was the situation with Billy and why he decided to leave?
Yeah, Billy's a great hitter, and I think there's probably a lot of things that went into it for him personally, so I don't want to speak for him. I think for me, it just, we didn't want him to go, but obviously we wish him all the best, and he's an elite hitter, and he had an elite year, and so hope he continues to find that success. Yeah, he's been here. He's been around. He's even worked camp. Caden's. I got a random email. This just speaks to Caden's. I got a random email from someone that was out in Greenville, and Caden was at a restaurant out in Greenville and took the time to meet this guy's family and take pictures with his daughter, and was all smiles and went out of his way, and just, Caden is one of those guys. I mean, he's a generational type of talent to do what he did on both sides of the ball here, but he's an even better dude. And I saw that constantly with him, of how he would just invest his time with some of the younger kids and always signing autographs and always with a smile on his face, and never looked at it as like as a have to. It was more of a get to. And I think the future is very bright for him. He's going to have a long, successful career as a major leaguer. So we're all excited for him to start that next chapter. But he is someone that just I've been more than impressed with his family, just how he's been raised, the type of kid that he is, and how he continues to, shift the target off of him and brighten the day of other people.
What are your thoughts on Will just making a full commitment to baseball now?
Yeah, that I got to be honest, I didn't know that was coming, and didn't expect it, quite honestly. And Will was very thought out, because, like he said, he had the most unique opportunity of all the student athletes at Clemson to get to do two sports, and do two sports well, be champion in two sports. That's an amazing opportunity. But I think he looked at things from a long-term lens and realized that, he's a true professional prospect in baseball, and also is one of those guys that, has the potential to play this game for a long time and make a career out of it. And I just appreciate the way he and his family, thought through it. And it was a very, went through a long process to come to that decision. And I just appreciate he and his dad. I had breakfast with he and his dad up in the Cape, and you want to talk about solid, salt of the earth people. That's an incredible family, the Taylor family, and that was awesome to get to spend some time with them up there.
What kind of difference could that make for him to go, now he's 365 baseball, and how can that help him on the baseball mound?
Well, I think anything, no matter what your craft is, if you devote more hours to it, you accelerate the development. So I think for him, he's just looking at it as, all right, I got this good playing half the year. How good can I get playing full time? And so I think he is very much looking forward to being a baseball player for the first time. It's the first time he's going to specialize after 20 years old. And, so he's one of the latest to do that, and so Yeah, I think he's looking at this being an accelerant for his career, because he's now gonna, all the things that go with that, how he trains, how he lifts, the mental game, all the fall sessions in here, but just being able to narrow his focus just on the one sport, and how he develops and recovers his body that way, I think will be beneficial for him.
Is that also a case study in the 11.7, and that he was a full ride for football? Now you've got to add him into that 11.7 mix.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and that's one of the reasons I appreciate his dad and him, is they didn't make that the main thing. And there are a lot of people out there that, that was the main thing, and it's all about the money. And for them, it wasn't about the money. They're looking at it more long term, where the real money is on the back end. It's him being a professional player and having a long major league career. He wasn't looking to, he wasn't looking at the money as a short-term thing. And I really appreciate the way they went about that thought process. So, yeah, we're going to try to help him out for sure. But again, this was a 11.7. It's 11.7 is always like this floating number, because you don't know who's coming in, who's coming out. But we will do everything in our power to make sure we can help him out. But that may be a situation where he would be a great candidate to get some NIL dollars to help cover cover that difference.
It's going back to the draft. It's just a question for the fan in terms of how do you recruit. Because obviously Dylan Head and Sam Sephora are guys that have gone pro. I mean, when you're recruiting, you try to target guys that we think they'll actually make it to campus. How aggressive are you with guys who you think might actually turn pro? And I guess it's ties in with the portal. Does it help now that you have more available, possibly veteran players to replace if you're losing guys?
Yeah, so I think we all watched the World Series, and there was a lot of talk of glorifying the portal, as and some teams maybe rely on it. We will always build our program with high school players, always. And we are going to build the program by recruiting the high school player, developing the high school player, and we are going to go into the portal to fill some holes, plug some gaps, or plug some holes, fill some gaps. Kind of like we used to do back in the day with junior college players. And then, it used to be if you transferred, you have to sit out a year, so you really didn't do the 4-year transfer thing, in the last, whatever it's been, 15 years. But the majority of the guys we've got coming in are grad transfers, and this will actually be the first time that we've brought in someone that's not a grad transfer. But I think, there has to be some type of extenuating circumstance for us, at least, as to why to target someone or to get someone that isn't a graduate transfer. I just personally, gravitate to the grad transfer. Just like that the guy did his 4 years at the other school, got his degree. He's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder because he's not drafted, he's not in pro ball, he's still in college, and he's got one shot at being a part of a winner. And those guys, whether it was at Michigan or last year with the guys we had, with specifically Riley Bertram and Willie Weiss, but those guys have just, they're just willing to do anything to make sure the team goes out a winner, and their last year as a college baseball player is a very memorable one. So we've mostly just, targeted the grad transfer. But now that the post-COVID window is closing, the COVID bonus year, I think the transfers will probably shift back to, just the straight undergrad transfer. And I'm not saying we won't ever do it. We did it this year with a couple guys coming in, but it would have to be a very specific need that needs to be filled, and a very specific reason why. I'm just not a guy that thinks that we're going to get someone who's disgruntled over here and looking at, thinking this is a greener grass type of situation. Jerry Weinstein, the former Sacramento City College coach, had a great line. He said, "The grass is brown everywhere. It's only green where you water it." Right? So, we'll build our program with high school players. We'll supplement the transfers as needed.
With the draft, though, is it difficult as a coach to, not
Yeah, so it's, we kind of subscribe to the idea that you can't coach them if you never sign them. I mean, we, going all the way back to, recruiting at Vanderbilt with Coach Corbin, we targeted some big-time guys. And we lost some of them, but the ones we got were transformational for the program. Guys like David Price. I mean, David Price could have signed for a 7-figure signing bonus out of high school, but he chose to come to school. And so, I think we will always target those types of players. Clemson historically has always targeted those types of players. And, and then you have some that come in and really blossom and have turned into, to create quite a career for themselves. But yeah, we will always go after the high-end player, and this is a place that every prospect should be interested in, just with the fan base, the facilities, the development of our program, the way our players develop in our program. Having winning teams and a winning culture, it's going to be highly attractive for kids throughout the southeast state of South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, all the way up to the northeast. I mean, those, we'll continue to recruit probably a 50-50 mix of out-of-state, in-state. So I think if you're on the eastern seaboard, from the tip of Florida all the way to the tip of Maine, this is going to be a desirable place to come to. It's my recruiting pitch.